responsibility point. Like table 7, wins doing your best point, starting on do now all together. Bless you.
Thank you.
Fredo doing your best point. Minute 30 seconds to finish up your thoughts. What you know about it. It's not just names now, but everything you know about it. One minute to be tracking me up front. Thirty seconds. Seconds, listen to the timer. Ooh, that's a tough one. Doing your best point the whole class, everyone's tracking me slanting. All right. You have 1 minute when I say go. You're going to turn and tell your partner everything you know about plants, everything you know about animals, and some differences you notice between the two groups. Ready? Go.
Animals find flat here. Some they are by animals. Some animals they have more than 3 or plants. They are big or small. I think of roots, dirt, specific environments, water, oxygen, nature, the sun, progress. And that's it for plants. And then for animals, I want to say because it's a lot. You can read it. Lifespan.
20 seconds.
So what did you guys say?
I said that plants have a cell wall, produce their own food, are green, living, non-movable, and are big and small. And that animals get their own food, are living, some of the other animals.
Track your knee, check your slants. Alfredo doing your best.
Sorry.
Keyshawn, responsibility. Shaylan doing your best. Cadence, -1 doing your best. Track your knee. All right, I would like to hear a few groups share out something that you know about plants and animals. Alfredo, tell me one thing you know. All eyes tracking Alfredo.
The plants make its own food and animals eat hot for its food.
+1 curiosity. Plants make their own food. Animals have to hunt for food. Justin, tell me one thing you know about plants.
They need water.
They need water, which is something they have in common with animals. Justin, go ahead and go. Let's see. Axel, tell me something you know about plants or animals.
Plants are no commotion and animals have commotion.
So yeah, there's something about locomotion, about movement. +1 curiosity for Axel. Justin, +1 curiosity. Cadence, what do you know about plants and animals?
I know that plants have
Keyshawn, go ahead, Cadence.
I know that plants have nitrogen and some of them might have poison and the other ones might have thorns.
So there might be some that have poison, some might have thorns. Santana.
Plants have box cells and animals have circle cells.
So plant cells sometimes can be square shaped. Animal cells sometimes can be round. You have 30 seconds. I want to see your scissors, your glue or your tape up in the air. If you don't have it, you'll have to borrow or share. Scissors, glue, tape. 18 seconds. Scissors, glue, tape. Doing your best, point for table 8. All 4 have their materials out where I can see them. Check your slant. Tracking the board. Lucero, +1 respect. Jessica, +1 respect. Tyler, +1 respect. Ulysses, will you please read our content target for the day?
Scientists will be able to explain classification criteria for the 6 kingdoms of life by writing a paragraph to describe the differences between the plant and animal kingdoms.
Alright, so our 2 parts of our lesson today. We are going to learn classification criteria for the 6 kingdoms of life. Lucero, what are we going to learn today?
About the 16.
And what about the 6 kingdoms of life? Cesar, what are we going to learn about today?
The classification criteria for the 6 kingdoms of life.
Lily, what are we going to learn about today?
We're going to learn about classification criteria for 6 kingdoms of life.
Alright, by writing a paragraph to describe differences between plant and animal kingdom. Jonathan, how are you going to show me what you learned today?
By writing a paragraph describing the differences between the plant and animal kingdoms.
Santana, how are you going to show me what you learned today, buddy?
By writing a paragraph to describe the differences between the plant and animal kingdom.
Julian, how are you going to show me what you know today?
By why do you going to describe the difference between the plants and animals?
So today we're going to practice using our 4 criteria to distinguish between different kingdoms, and then at the end of class, to show me that you know what we're doing today, you're going to do that for plants and animals. That's why we started with our do now with plants and animals, because you know a lot about them already. Now we're going to put our 4 criteria on them. At the end of class, you're going to be able to write a paragraph to tell me what the differences are. Our key vocabulary today, number 1, Jessica. Classification. Number 2, Javier. Characteristic. Number 3, Axel. Number 3, Axel. Criteria. Number 4, Shaylin. Kingdom. And number 5, Lucero. This is a big college word here. Phylogeny. Everyone say phylogeny. Phylogeny. Awesome. +1 courage, Lucero, for trying a hard college word. So, participation today. You are going to be doing first 3 and do now. So far, everyone's earned your full points for first 3 and do now. Earning points for slant for participation today. Make sure you're slanting, tracking the entire class. We're going to do brain pop activity together to introduce the idea of our 6 kingdoms. Then we're going to practice some together with the practice sheet you have on your table. And then finally, we'll have a mastery check at the end. So we've talked a lot about 6 kingdoms. They are archaea, bacteria, protista, fungi, plants, and animals. So now your do now sheet needs to be in front of you with your pencil ready to write. We're going to watch the video and listen for answers and fill them out as we're going along.
Still trying to get Hector to fetch? Good luck with that. Dear Tim and Moby, what can you tell me about the 6 kingdoms of life? From Becky. Scientists like to organize everything. It helps them understand what they're studying. Aristotle, one of the early Greek philosophers, tried to do this with living things. He divided all life into 2 main categories, plants and animals. The animal kingdom was further divided based on things like physical traits and habitat. That system held up for more than 2,000 years. But scientists slowly learned that physical similarities can be misleading. So in the 20th century, they began to group organisms by phylogeny.
So there's our college word. Phylogeny is how modern scientists classify living things.
What?
Well, phylogeny is how organisms are related through evolution. For instance, Aristotle would have categorized whales close to tuna, since they both live in the sea and have similar shapes. But with what we know about genetics and evolution, it's clear that whales are closer to giraffes than they are to tuna. Using phylogeny as a guide, most biologists divide life into 6 kingdoms: animals, plants, fungi, protists, bacteria, and archaea. Each kingdom is further divided into subcategories. Let's talk about bacteria. Bacteria come in many shapes, including spheres, rods, and spirals.
So, blank come in many shapes, including spheres, rods, and spirals. Ariel. Bacteria.
Yeah, when you hear that word, you think of all those germs that can make you ill. But most bacteria aren't pathogenic, the kind that make you sick. Bacteria are everywhere. You can find them in the air, the water, and even inside other living things.
So, Bacteria live actually inside us, they're on your skin. So when you see people have acne, like they get the pimples on their skin, that's because of bacteria that lives on your skin that causes that. You have bacteria in your stomach that helps you digest food. So some bacteria are actually really good for us, and some can be harmful and bad for us.
In fact, some help us by breaking down food in our intestines. All bacteria are prokaryotic, meaning they have no nucleus. The only other prokaryotic kingdom is the archaea. These are some of the oldest forms of life on Earth, but people didn't know about them until the 1970s.
So this is pretty cool actually. Until about 20, 30 years ago, we didn't even know this group of organisms existed until scientists started finding them in these really hard places for animals to live, or any kind of living thing to live. Usually at the bottom of oceans, or near volcanoes, or near hot springs where it's really hot or really acidic and hard for things to live. So, question number 3, bacteria and the blank are the only two kingdoms whose cells do not have a cell nucleus. Jose. Archaea. Say archaea. Archaea.
Many of them have a strikingly different genetic makeup from other living things. Even though they can be found in lots of different habitats, archaea are known for being able to survive in extreme environments, like deep-sea trenches and hot springs. Like all bacteria and archaea, most protists are single-celled creatures that are too small to see. The difference is that there's...
So question 4. Like the bacteria and archaea, the blank are mostly single-celled organisms that are too small to see without a microscope. Kenya. Protists. Say protists. Protists.
cells have a nucleus. Protists are divided up by how they get their food. Animal-like protists, such as amoebas, capture food to eat. Plant-like protists, like plankton, use sunlight to make food. And some do both. No, Moby, mushrooms belong to the fungi kingdom. Fungi live by sucking up nutrients made by other organisms. They're often found on dead plants and animals, breaking down the remains.
So question 5. Mushrooms belong to what kingdom and are often found on dead plants and animals getting nutrients? Let's see, 5 hands, 6 hands. Let's see if we can get 10 hands showing courage. Jennifer. Fungi kingdom. So there are these organisms that help break down plant and animal matter so it can go back into the soil to be used again for the cycle of life again. Fungi play a very big role in that process.
Fungi attach themselves to their food with clumps of tiny threads called hyphae. Then there's the plant kingdom. Unlike fungi, plants make their own food through photosynthesis. That's the conversion of sunlight and carbon dioxide into food.
So Alfredo, number 6. Which kingdom makes their own food through photosynthesis? Plants. Awesome job.
Plants include trees and flowers, the weeds in your yard, and the moss that grows on rocks. Plant cells have rigid walls made of a substance called cellulose.
So this is our picture of what Santana was telling us about, that plant cells have this cell wall that we learned about in our last unit that makes them rigid and allows plants to stand up without a skeleton.
We belong to the animal kingdom. Well, I do anyway. Animals are multi-celled organisms that eat food to survive. Lizards, bugs, birds, and bears are animals too. Animals tend to move around, although some, like coral, are sessile. Oh, Hector? Well, I guess he's an animal.
So question
Please teach
7.
him not to do that anymore.
Members of what kingdom have to move around to get their own food? Jonathan. Animals. Last one. All right, good job, everybody. So on the next part of your paper, turn it over on the back. You have 4 minutes at volume level 0, completely silent. You're answering 3 different questions. If you finish early, you may begin cutting out the specimens on our practice sheet. Jonah, respect. Kylie, respect. Javier, respect. Alright, so 1 minute. When I say go, I want you to turn and talk to your partner about what you see as the differences between bacteria and animals. If you're unsure, this sheet here has the descriptions of the 4 characteristics we're going to use today for each of those groups. So I want you to start using this language from these 4 main characteristics that we're using today. So 1 minute starts, go.
The both is that animals are like more visual to see. Bacteria are like smaller.
The difference between bacteria and animals is that bacteria can sometimes make you sick and animals don't naturally make you sick.
Good job, guys. That's a good observation.
Bacteria is only a one-celled organism, but animals are multi-celled. I said plants doesn't feed on dead plants, while fungi doesn't feed on. While fungi does feed on dead plants.
Bacteria is so small you can't see it. Meanwhile,
You already told us. Go to the 3rd one. No, 2nd one. I already said the 2nd one.
Plants
You
get
have to say the 2nd one.
plants get food by sun and carbon dioxide. Meanwhile, fungi gets food from dead plants and animals.
What about you, Ken? Oh, the bacteria are like
What I was gonna put, I didn't finish. Fungi can't make its own food, but on the other hand, plants can.
Track me up front. Gentlemen, have a seat. Somebody's going to do your best. Produces multicellular, so does it meet all your core criteria well? So does it have many cells? Does it have a nucleus? Does it move on its own? And does it make food? So what do you think about that? Every group of organisms is going to have some exceptions. So even though it's a plant, it doesn't have itself.
So Fredo, I see you folded them like that. Why'd you fold them like that?
So if there's more, like I could just put them like that and then go like that.
Oh, and then you can just flip it under and see the
Yeah.
description?
Uh-huh.
Cool, man.
Yes.
Jonah, why aren't those cut out, man? Okay. Make sure you got your scissors ready to go, okay?
This one's
They're an
a tough
important
one.
supply for us.
Know which one of these 2? The clue that was, it's not one of our 4, but archaeobacteria usually live in really harsh environments. So do you think that fresh water pond is a harsh environment? Do you think that can happen?
So Patrick, I see you chose the whisk fern as a plant. Can you explain a little bit about why you chose the whisk fern as a plant?
Okay. I chose it because it gets its food from photosynthesis, and that's the only. I chose this because it gets food from photosynthesis, which is the only thing on the list that ever does that. Well, only plants do that in this list, so yeah.
Awesome. That's a great explanation, buddy. Thank you. So I see you put the plumose anemone as a fungi. Why did you choose that as a fungi?
Oh, I was looking back. I messed up.
Speak up, Santana.
I messed up on it.
Oh, you messed up? Well, what do you... It's okay. We all make mistakes. What made you choose that one initially?
It said it cannot move and grows attached to rocks.
Okay, so you said can't move, attached to rocks. So why did you think that would be a fungi?
Some grow on other stuff.
Speak up.
Because fungi can eat like on dead plants, and dead plants is like mainly by soil and rocks.
Okay. So now that you've realized your mistake, that thinking seemed correct at the time, but now that you've realized your mistake, what are you thinking it's going to be? I don't know. It sounds like you're asking me a question. I want you to explain your thinking. What do you think and why do you think it? Okay. So I see one really good one right here, and number 2 that could help us with its plant. What do you think?
Sarah, please remind me what the volume level expectation is during this activity.
Now what about this?
Zero,
It feeds on
silent.
tiny fish and other organisms.
So this is something you need to be working on yourself,
So does it
not
make
talking
its
to
own
your
food?
classmates.
No. So it has its
You're
cell
doing this to
nuclei.
practice what you know.
It can't
Raise
make
your
its
hand,
own
sign if you
food.
have questions.
Over here we have cells and nuclei and can make its own food. So from those 2, what are you thinking?
Could be animals.
Ooh. Why?
Because it has
Ooh, I don't know. I see another reason on there.
But can
No, what's it feed on?
feeds on tiny fish and other organisms.
So if it feeds on other tiny fish and organisms, do you think it's an animal or more like a plant?
More like a plant.
A plant. So if we look at our criteria, we see plants have many cells, they have nucleus/nuclei, no locomotion, and can make their own food. Can that anemone make its own food? Oh, it does. How does it do that?
Oh, no.
It doesn't?
It feeds on tiny fish and other organisms.
Okay, so can it make its own food or not? No, it cannot. So do you think it would be an animal or a plant? Good job. So now, explain for our trusty Cameron here, your thinking about why it's an animal.
I think it's an animal because it has a nuclei, feeds on tiny fish and other organisms, and can move.
Awesome. Good job, buddy. Well done. What'd you do there, Kenya?
I don't know.
Darn it. Good job.
I'm gonna challenge you on this one. The criteria for this one again.
These are tiny fish. Oh.
But it can move also sometimes. So it needs one of our criteria. Yeah. How are you doing, Justin?
Looks like this. Why don't we hold Did I do it wrong?
So proud of her work. Good job, Cadence. Are you already done, Jessica? Oh, let's see it. I want to hear a little bit of your thoughts. Okay, so I noticed that you have this plumose anemone as a fungi. So what criteria are you seeing on there that says it's a fungi?
It is a multicellular, and this one's a multicellular. And then it cannot make food because it feeds on tiny fish and other organisms. And it has no locomotion because it says that it grows attached to rocks.
Let's come back to it.
Track can be up front. Please put glue sticks, papers down. Axel, doing your best. Thank you, Omar. Respect. All right. We're going to take a few moments to just talk about what we just did, because it's getting close to time to writing your mastery check to tell me the difference between plants and animals. I loved some of the questions I saw going through this process of trying to use our 4 criteria to classify these into the 6 different kingdoms. So what are some differences between the kingdoms that you noticed? Take 30 seconds, turn and talk with your partner, go. Yes, you can. Okay, tracking me. This last question to set you up for your mastery check. What are the main differences between the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom using our 4 criteria? 30 seconds, turn to talk, go.
You don't know? You almost think probably. The what? So this goes along plants rotate up pain try.
No, that's not how it looks.
Wait.
I'll do that real quick.
Say that in respect. Okay. On the back of your do now, on the very bottom of the page, you will see your mastery check. Your 6 minutes for your mastery check. Actually, we're running a little shy, so we're going to do 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes to list the 4 characteristics of plants, list the 4 characteristics of animals, and then write 3 to 4 sentences to explain the differences between the 2 kingdoms. We are working volume level 0, completely silent. Jonah should see writing. Should see 30 little pencils writing on paper right now. This is part of your participation grade for the day. So if I do not see you writing right now, you're losing 1 point of participation. Writing, silently stay seated, but back up.
Oh, goodness. Hey, buddy. Don't be embarrassed.
It's like one of the plants that we saw, so it didn't have the walls, so different circumstances lead to some point of this different strategy.
Can humans make food?
Still, we classify it as a plant, but still need most.
Say your question again.
Can't most animals, well, only humans make food?
So you can't walk around with this on.
So that's a great question. How you're using make is really important. Okay. So when we talk about making food, are we talking about like putting food in a microwave? When we say a plant can make food, are we saying, oh, a plant can get some food and put it in the microwave and make it for himself? Is that what we're saying? We're not, are we?
So what do you mean?
Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know.
When I say a plant can make its own food, what am I talking about?
Gets food from itself
Yes, exactly. And how does it do it?
by eating itself?
Not quite correct. Think of that word photosynthesis, right? So a plant makes its own food by
Please throw away all scraps
from the sun
cutting paper.
and using water and nutrients from the soil.
5 minutes after we are
So
done.
that's what we mean when we say it makes food. Make sure you finish your mastery check, okay?
That's okay. Pack up your materials, stand silently behind your desk. Make sure you throw away all scraps of paper around the floor, desk, chairs.
What do we do with these? The ones we do
When I see your area is clean, I will dismiss you. Jonathan, Jessica, you're dismissed. Tyler, you're dismissed. me what you got down there.